Hello again, and welcome to another episode of 1001 by 1, where each week we take a film out of the book, 1001 Movies You Must See Before You Die, discuss it, analyze it, and ultimately decide whether or not it should be in the book. My name is Adam St. John.
My name is Britt Reinhold Hobson.
And my name is Joey Rogate. Today, we're heading to Canada. We're gonna spend some time with a tiny cult of detached weirdos. But first, follow us on social media. We're at 1001 by 1 everywhere. You may social media. Follow us, interact with us. We're there.
We're nice.
Before we get into the adventures of Canadians, what are some recommends? Britt, new hair. First recommend. What do you got?
Yes. I'm now blonde, which I did warn you both about because I really didn't know this was going to happen today, and then it did. So great.
Stark. The word is stark.
I figured it would be a little jarring if I just showed up as a blonde. But so I decided that today I wanted to make sure that I recommended something that is transgressive, that's queer, and that's kind of difficult but worth it if you really get into it. So I am going with Knife+Heart from 2018. It is a movie that follows a director named Anne, who in the 1980s, she's a director of gay porn in France, and and it's a giallo where her lead actors start being murdered. And it's great. I really like this movie. Again, it's transgressive. It's tough subject matter, but I think it's worthwhile to get through. Also a great example of a modern giallo. So yeah, I highly recommend it. It's on Shudder, so get after it. It's great.
Knife+Heart. Great name.
It's a really good name. And again, it's going to make you think, and it's going to push your boundaries. And that's what I want in a transgressive film.
Very cool.
Nice.
Adam?
Yeah, so I was able to catch up on I think 4 Cronenberg films that I hadn't seen, which ranged from not my cup of tea at all to one that I was so in and like cringed and was like, oh no, and like what's happening? And I will, as a segue into our conversation, Cronenberg lends himself really well. All of the boutique labels love Cronenberg. He's got Criterion, He's got Arrow, he's got Kino, and they've got a really cool 4K version of what is now one of my favorite Cronenberg movies, The Brood.
Cool.
Oh God, I love The Brood.
This movie, and the description on the box makes, this is not enough. A worried father attempts to uncover a controversial psychologist's unconventional therapy techniques on his institutionalized wife amidst a series of horrific murders that seem to be targeting those closest to him. Holy shit. This movie is like, it's a lot, and I loved it. I loved it, and I know that, I get a lot of shit because I wasn't a fan of The Devils. But Oliver Reed in this is great. He's phenomenal. The movie looks great. The practical horror effects of Cronenberg, hot damn, gotta like it. So, and it looks so good. It looked really good. Yeah.
I would say that's my, God, it's hard to say it's my second favorite Cronenberg, but I really, really love The Brood. When Nola opens up her like white kimono-esque sheet dress, it is one of the most visceral, terrifying things I've ever seen on screen. While I do find the movie kind of misogynistic, I can accept it for where Cronenberg was at in his life, considering what was happening. And I fucking love it. I love it so much. Oh my God, I love The Brood.
The first time one of the little creature people kills, I was like, my jaw was like, I didn't know what was happening, and then moved so fucking fast. I was like, that was crazy. And The Brood, it was great. The Brood, yeah, it was weird. I loved it. Love it.
Beautiful thing. All right, I went with 2021's Titane.
Of course you did.
Yeah, fucking love that movie. 2021 on the mind. great movie. So I went with Titane.
It's so good. It is so good. If you want
great.
a transgressive movie about car fucking, go watch Titane. It is.
It's the logical next step, you
It
know?
is. It is. Great double feature. Great double feature.
In Titane, people seem like they like each other.
Yes. There is I feel like in Titane I can actually connect with some of the characters somehow. Like,
But yeah. So Crash. We're talking about Crash tonight. Not the bad Oscar winner one. No. This is 1996, David Cronenberg's Crash. A car crash victim suddenly finds himself turned on by car accidents and becomes involved with an underground subculture of like-minded souls. Directed by David Cronenberg. Written by David Cronenberg. Novel by J.G. Ballard. Starring James Spader, Holly Hunter, Elias Koteas, fucking Casey Jones, Deborah Kara Unger, Rosanna Arquette, and Peter McNeil. Do you both think, or either of you think, that this is in the IMDb top 250?
no.
No, I know it gets weird on that list, but I kind of doubt it.
It does get weird, but this isn't there. It'd be interesting if it was. In terms of awards, really the only one that stands out is it got the not given every year jury special prize at Cannes.
Yeah.
Pretty much when the president hates your movie, but everyone else likes it, they give you a special prize, which is,
You know what?
pretty dope.
I like that special prize.
Me
I
too.
think that's
I think
a
it's
really
awesome.
cool, interesting thing. Regardless of my own thoughts on this film, I think that all of everything that happened around this movie is so fucking interesting and such
Agreed.
a great like part of film history that it makes it worth it. And this jury prize, like,
It fits. It makes
obsessed.
the move. It makes the movie more interesting.
yes,
And
it does.
It's a chef's kiss moment that it was Francis Ford Coppola who was the jury president that year. It's just so ironic and funny, and like, God forbid there's some violence in a movie, but you show people doing it. Yeah, get the fuck out of here with you
outta
doing
here.
it in the movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What did I read? I read
Especially
that,
if there's a scar in there. Francis
that
can't
Dave-
handle that.
David Cronenberg had talked about he saw the most people walk out of the film during Ballard and Vaughn's sex scene, not during the car crashes, not during the scar fucking, during the gay sex scene. And it's like, oh, that's what we're dealing with when we're coming to this film. Okay, great. You know, the people who can't handle that, you know. It's the history is way more interesting than the film itself.
All right. Well, do we like lists?
No.
Yeah,
Love
I do.
lists.
I do.
I love
All
lists.
right.
I love
Whatever.
lists so much. When I spent hours trying to find a list for this, I couldn't find anything.
Did you
I
make your
found
own?
nothing. So I made my own list.
Oh my God. Yes. I'm so excited.
Hold on. Before you do, I'm not going to read it. There was a list referenced on the Wikipedia thing I thought you were going to look at, because I thought BFI did a list of the 90 best films of the 90s, and this was number 1 on the list, and I was like, this shit is wild.
There's that, and then Martin Scorsese. It's number 8 on his favorite movies list
Of the
I
90s.
judge Martin Scorsese on
of the
his-
90s. Yeah.
Martin Scorsese, he's a wild motherfucker. Like, what does he like? I don't know. I think maybe we'd get along because we both have weird taste in films.
But my list is a short list. Mine is ranking movies with the name Crash.
Ugh, yeah.
So number 3, 1971, Crash! Exclamation. It's a short movie that's 17 minutes, and it sucks so bad. I hated it. I hated every minute of it. It was
so
like
bad.
it was like 50 minutes. It was 17 minutes. It was so long. And if that's what you need proof of concept to write your book, you shouldn't write your book because it was a piece of shit.
I stopped watching it last night because I was like, I should probably watch this movie. And then I got 5 minutes in and went, I don't need to watch this. I don't.
Do you know what my favorite part? Joey, I know this is an important list, but I don't know if we're going to come back to this short film version of
shouldn't.
Crash again. It is included on the Arrow Restoration 4K, so I watched it too. My favorite thing is that when they're when the car is like, or when the camera is down around the base of the car and there's going, you can see the reflection of the camera crew in the chrome. And I was like, this is so bad.
What are you talking about? J.G. Ballard is incredible, obviously. How did he not do more films?
J.G. Ballard looks like he stepped out of this world. Like, I think he intimately knew the world in which he was talking about.
I mean, he did use his own name for his own lead character, so I think that tells
which is a bold choice.
He's a tough hang. Like, I told that to Joey the other day. I was like, J.G. Ballard, tough hang. And he goes, yeah, you know, his wife died. And I was like, yeah, but then I read Crash. So, no, tough hang.
Yeah, he's brutal. And Crash was worse. Number 2, Oscar award-winning Crash from 2004. The fuck? And number 1, the movie we're talking about tonight.
Whoa!
1996 Crash by David Cronenberg.
Is that a ringing endorsement of the film, or like? No,
it's not. It's more of an indictment of the naming of your movie Crash. Now, I will start by saying I think this movie, it actually made me think a lot of his new one, The Shrouds, where I think it's a really good idea. I think what's there is very interesting, and I think it has interesting themes, but then I think the idea is bigger than he can get to with the movie.
I think that's fair. I think that with this film, I think this film showcases that Cronenberg is technically a great director. Like, technically, the whole movie works. The acting is really good. I like the camera work. I like how the scenes are put together.
Not all the acting is very good.
I would say, honestly, I've watched this movie 3 times now for this, and it went up from a 2 to a 2.5 for me. So, like,
I think
it's getting there. No, but I actually genuinely like the acting in it. But for me, the story is just... Actually, there's a lot. Okay, I'm going to hold my thoughts on that until later. Sorry, we have other things to do. I'm just really chomping at the bit to talk about this movie with you guys.
No, we're here. We're talking about it because I think, like, the acting, and listen, acting disconnected is its own thing, right? So that's hard to do because there's where you could go too far. Where I feel like Debbie Unger goes a little too far into the disconnected in the beginning. I think she gets better at the end, when she's interested in what's going on.
I have seen this movie 4 times now. One time for a different podcast that I did where I said that I hated it so much and that I wasn't going to yuck anybody's yum, but I think these people need to go to therapy. And I really hated her in this. I thought Catherine was the least interesting person. As I watched the film, I've completely flipped where I think her acting is actually the most interesting because she's saying a lot while barely emoting a single thing. And that's
can't hear anything.
Maybe I'm just trying to find something to latch onto. Okay.
I think she's an interesting character that the actor did not do a good enough job with.
I think that's totally fair.
Where I think James Spader pulls off the disconnectedness wonderfully, and he actually feels like someone maneuvering a world, and so does Holly Hunter. And I think really Rosanna Arquette does really well. And I think Unger just kind of, huh?
She's barely in it though. Rosanna Arquette.
But what she's in, and I think she does it. Where I think Deborah Unger, I think is again at the end better. I think she's. I'm not going to say bad in the beginning, but she's not good.
And I think that's how the character is written because she's very similar to the character in the book. Because audience, I read this book not once, but twice for this fucking podcast.
Which no one asked you to do.
Nobody asked me to do it.
Nobody asked you to do this. And then,
I still feel like you two owe me $20 each because I read it twice for some reason, because I took that on myself to see if it would make me feel anything.
I'm sending you a copy of The Keep very soon.
True.
So
That's true.
I'm going to go ahead and not do that.
Rude, but fine. I'll take it. I'm so excited.
That's fair. It's funny. I'm somewhere I think in the middle with Deborah Kara Unger. And yes, I've watched this movie more in the last few days than I care to admit. But like
he
I
went
was
to bed with it. He woke up with it. Like
I
making
slept with
breakfast.
my copy of it. Yeah,
Yeah,
it was a
yeah.
real thing. Melissa was getting concerned, as well she should. But it was that opening the opening scene with her where she's in the hangar and she's clearly more infatuated with the planes than with the dude.
Yes.
And it's so interesting because it's you're watching her. And Britt, you'll know this too, but like it's like when you talk about an actor, you talk about a performance, right? You think about objectives, right? What is my character's objective, right? And then like you'll hear these like over like what is the character's super objective? What's the objective for the entirety of the film versus like scene objectives? But like this idea of moment to moment objectives, that's always really hard to play, especially when you're on stage because you're further away and it's harder for the audience to see you actively making those choices or thinking about what's happening. And because we get those close-ups of her in that moment, it is really interesting to watch her go from and I don't know how to I'm just going to go for it. I'm just going to go for it.
This is going to be an explicit conversation.
Yeah. Listen, if you're listening to a Crash podcast and you get upset by the language, you'd be mad at
watching her be tepid about having this dude's face in her ass, but then realizing that she would much rather be caressing the wing of this plane. You can see her flipping back and forth. And and Britt, kind of like you, the more that I watch the movie, which again, a healthy amount of times we watch this movie, I could notice it more. It is, Joey, it is very subtle. It is extremely subtle. It is.
Subtle
I feel like
to
there's
the
a
point
little,
where
guys, do you know what Stockholm Syndrome is? Where sometimes you're too engaged with something. You're like, no. I watched this an appropriate amount of times, and I don't know.
I will say that I was just watching it before this podcast, and I realized I have the same bangs as her now. So I was like, "Oh no, did I just get Catherine's hair?"
You got the DKU. You got the Deborah Kara Unger, man, just rocking it
from 1996 Crash. What a flip!
But who I did think is awesome in this is Holly Hunter. I love her in this.
Such a fucking weird character. Like
so bizarre.
So
like the
bizarre.
fact that she's anywhere likable, playing such just off kilter is not even the right word. Just not even of this planet.
I mean, she had already won her Oscar when she was in this movie. So this is an Oscar-winning actor who wanted to work with Cronenberg, and Cronenberg was like, great, here's the movie. She agreed to it before she even saw the script, and she fucking sells it. I think of that scene where they're all watching the crash test dummies, and she's like, you can tell she's trying to feel something. She's trying to, like, that whole scene, I'm just like, wow, it's a bummer that we don't follow Helen in this. You don't follow Helen in the book either. You follow Ballard and Catherine, and we can talk about the book in a minute, but like we don't get enough Helen in this movie, I think.
And she just disappears. It's just like, okay, we're focusing on here now, and then she comes back, but she's just gone too long.
Well, it does make sense. I mean, in the okay, it's one of those things where I hated the book. Okay, fucking hated it. I don't like J.G. Ballard. It was a beautifully written book. The prose is amazing, but there's only so many times I can read about semen going onto a dashboard and people licking other people's anuses and penetrating scars before I'm like, what are we doing here? Like, what is the point of this book other than just being just trying to make me feel weird, right? It didn't feel like we were trying to ascend to a different level of consciousness, right? It didn't make me feel like I was trying to find a deeper meaning within myself reading this. It made me feel like it just went out to make me uncomfortable. And I would not say that I am a prude. Like, I am not the type of person that gets uncomfortable with reading about sex, reading about kinks, watching different things on screen. I'm actually very pro, like, we need to go farther. And I think my biggest issue with this movie and even with the book is that it doesn't go far enough. Like we have what on screen, but it's still very sanitized and also very much through the male gaze. So there's a lot in it that just rubs me the wrong way. Like it makes me feel icky.
Well, and I think part of my trouble with it is that, you come to the end of this movie and spoiler, Vaughn dies. And
oh my God.
What?
It's a thing that happens. And
poor Casey.
So Casey Jones. And then so we're left with, we have Catherine and James and I'm not really ruining the movie by the end, but they kind of do their own car crash reenactment. They have sex on the side of this, whatever they call freeways in Canada. And that's the end of it. And I guess I'm wondering if there really is is there change? Or is it just going to be this? Like, one thing I thought was interesting, and I'm reading this from Wikipedia, which means it's not necessarily going to be good. But in the opening, they say it follows a film producer who, after surviving a car crash, becomes involved with a group of, and I'm going to hopefully say this word right, symphorophiliacs who are aroused by car crashes, and here's the kicker, and tries to rekindle his sexual relationship with his wife. Is that what's happening in the movie?
No, I don't think it is. And this is, again, where I feel like this was just
But
like
it's not happening.
It's not happening.
But it's not it's kind of an inadvertent, with Unger or whatever, it's like an inadvertent path, but it's not Ballard's goal at any point.
No, I honestly, and I think James Spader is very good in this movie. I'm not sure if anybody else could have pulled it off the way that he does, because I agree.
He has a special type of smarminess that.
Yes, his smarminess works very well in this. But I also am not quite positive he has a purpose or a focus in this movie at all. Like, one of the things that I did appreciate in the book is it's all from Ballard's consciousness. So we're getting a very in-depth understanding of him, which maybe I don't want, let's be real. But he talks about how his wife very early on in their relationship was kind of done with him in general as a sexual person. And both of them had an open relationship because they were trying to feel something and bring it back so that they could like reinvigorate something between them. And how when he has his accident and she becomes more wife-like to him, like all of a sudden she wants to be his partner again, he's uninterested and kind of grossed out by it because that's not the relationship they had. And throughout the book, Vaughn becomes their like third in their relationship. There's a lot more push and pull between all three of them. And I think that that's lost in the movie. Like, we kind of get the idea that he and Vaughn have a special connection, but it's not strong enough to propel the movie forward. I've read a lot where they say that at the end of and I'm wondering how you guys feel about this. I've read a lot where people say that at the end of the movie, Ballard has become the new Vaughn. And that's why he kind of runs his wife off the road and says, maybe the next time, and has sex with her. I don't think that is supported with this film, but what do you guys think? Do you think he's become the new Vaughn just from their relationship throughout the film?
No,
yeah,
not at all.
Me neither.
No.
That sounds like something that a grad student in film school like would propose and not really have enough to back it up. Yeah,
because that's just not there, like, whatsoever.
And I think part of it, and this is my opinion, I think Elias Koteas knocks this performance out of the fucking park.
Incredible.
He's lights out.
Pretty unbelievable casting too. Like, you need a certain energy that he really, really kicks ass with.
And because he's so uniquely captivating in this role, to say that Ballard, played by Spader, playing a kind of casual smarm, he's nowhere near the level of Vaughn is. And so I understand maybe wanting to connect that dot, but no,
Vaughn has like a cult leader energy to him. This like really, like the fact that he's able to pull people out to this alley to do the James Dean crash, and Ballard's not doing that. Like Ballard might, get one person in like a small room, but he's not pulling in people. He's not, oh, I live in my car, but this is my workspace with these 5 other people. He's not pulling that in. That's not the energy he puts out at any point in this movie. That's not his character. He's just not doing that. He's not a collaborator.
I think that's both like fantastic points about Vaughn in this film. And in the book, I don't want to just keep bringing it back to the book, but I did read the book twice for this, so
again,
we're going to talk about it. It was my active choice.
We make our own choices.
It was miserable.
Nobody forced us to.
If this movie has taught us anything, we make our own choices.
We make our own choices. We get into car crashes because they make us feel something, okay? So in the book, there's a lot more about the relationship between Vaughn and between Ballard. And like, there are certain scenes like Ballard talks about how the two of them lay together on the floor in the middle of the night, like projecting car crashes onto the ceiling to look at, going through different pictures. And I was like, that would have been a really incredible scene.
Great
to see.
Scene.
Like
would
that
would have been the movie.
That would have like it's your scene of the movie now, right? Like that
but that would have been a great idea because
yes.
I do think we're missing 2 scenes here where he meets him at the James Dean thing, and then like 3 minutes later they're just driving around to get like there's just all of a sudden they're connected.
That connective tissue.
Yes, 100%. They become very bonded very quick for no reason.
Yes, for no reason. The other thing that this is like in the first chapter of the book, but they talk about how they would drive around trying to find car crashes. And one time they found a car crash, they went to it, and there was a woman dying. And they like Vaughn lays her over the car, like the seats to take pictures of her, and then helps the ambulance take her away. Like they're there to help with everything. And later on, they go and pick up a sex worker who they then like lay over the seat in a similar way and put blood on her so that she looks like that woman that was in the car crash. And like rewatching the movie and watching the scene where they pick up the sex worker, I was like, we're missing so much here because this scene doesn't really make sense without the context of why they're doing it. And it just makes it seem like we're horny men who like to drive around in cars fast and fucking them. And that's not necessarily the point. I don't know.
Yeah, no. So that scene is on right now, and so I think you're right. I think this scene where they pick up the sex worker, it's like, okay, why? And I was really
right.
I was trying to connect it. And so I think part of what is interesting about the movie is that it puts us in the mindset of being a tourist, in the mindset of like, I'm visiting a world that I don't know. And it kind of puts us, and Ballard is that person who, instead of just staying on the fringe, is like, you know what? I'm going to dip my toe in this water. I'm going to see what's going on with these people. And I don't think this is my scene of the movie, but a scene that I am so fascinated by is the scene where Ballard and Gabrielle, played by Rosanna Arquette, they go to the Mercedes dealership.
Oh, I love that scene.
And they, she sees the car and she is fucking instantly turned on by this car. And so, she opens. Yeah, well, and that's what it is. So she's trying to get in, and he comes over, and he's helping her. And this guy is not a tourist. He's getting as involved as he can in his safe little world without actually going to like Ballard level of involvement. And I like that scene because it really it shows where a quote unquote everyday normal person's line is and where Ballard's got moved to. And I love that scene, watching that salesman squirm like, oh fuck, this is a problem. This is a mistake. I can't, we ruined the car. I'm really, really fascinated by that scene.
I agree. That was very, very close to being my my favorite scene of the film. It's not, but it did make a different scene that another question I have for you guys, which I can ask now or ask later. But
go for it.
what do you guys think is the most transgressive scene of this movie? And just for anybody that doesn't know, transgressive means like something that pushes moral or social boundaries. It's something that we see a lot in art, in film, in many different types of performance. And it's really, I love a transgressive film. I love something that's going to push at me and it's going to make me uncomfortable and make me think. And for me, the most transgressive scene of this film is when Ballard has sex with Gabrielle, and specifically has sex with her Scar, which is rough. It's way rougher in the book, but it's a tough scene to watch. And I'm like, that's what I want the whole film to do. That's where this film should be going, and it doesn't. It really doesn't.
I think that's the only scene where I was like, oh, the rest of the time I was just like, okay, it's just because, again, I think it's a lot of really good ideas, but I don't know. And maybe part of it is that they're also disconnected from each other, but it does feel like it always is missing going a step. And that scene with Gabrielle is where they're like, all right, we're gonna jump off the ledge a little bit here.
I mean, I think as an extended moment, that's probably it. I think as like a 3-second shot, there is a moment in the car wash when Catherine puts her hands on the seat.
Oh, and there's
oh yeah,
the only time we see semen.
Yeah. That was a moment, and then you connect the dots, going like, well, he's basically Ballard has witnessed, been privy to, I don't know, this moment with Vaughn and Catherine in the back seat. But yeah, I think probably the I don't know, the Scar fucking is probably the best way to call it. Yeah, that's probably it.
Yeah, because I think that's where it commits to its ideas the most of them. Because then I think it's connected to the Mercedes dealership so much. Like Adam, you said so wonderfully. Like I think it's there where it's the most interesting, because I think Rosanna Arquette, I wish she was in this a lot more. I thought she was awesome with the little she did. I mean, I'm sure she was very uncomfortable hobbling around, but
you know, the thing that I found about this movie doing research is that everybody had a really good time on set. Like Cronenberg was really aware of the sex scenes and very aware of, like, he gave people full veto of not even doing a scene, vetoing it during and after. Like all of the actors were involved with watching the playback of it, which I thought was really great. I listened to the commentary with Cronenberg the other day, and he did talk about how, like, yes, the subject matter is difficult, but it was actually a pretty lovely set to be on, which I think speaks
which was pretty unanimous. They all said,
exactly.
But that also leads to some of my frustrations with the movie not going far enough. Like, this wasn't like people got cold feet when they got in. Everyone was bought in. Everyone was comfortable with and trusted each other and trusted Cronenberg. So the fact that it never felt like it went as far as the subject matter would kind of suggest, that kind of frustrated me more. Where, like, if it was like, hey, you know what, we got on there and this actor or this actress was like, and it kind of screwed up some of the scenes and they had to like rework it, I'd be like, okay, whatever, I get it. But that frustrated me more, how good the set was.
There were certain aspects of it that felt very like they were being very conservative.
Also, we're probably the only podcast on earth that's like, this movie really just did not go far enough. Like this movie where people are like, oh, that's the most disturbing thing I've ever seen. I'm like, we're all like,
it could go farther.
You guys, why'd you fucking put up a wall, you weirds?
But I think part of that reason too is the Cronenberg of it all. Like, and
that's fair.
And I don't, by no means am I a Cronenberg expert, and there were still a few of his movies that I haven't seen. But like, if you were to have asked me like 4 or 5 years ago, what is Cronenberg known for? I mean, instantly, it's body horror. It's all of the cool, crazy shit. It's the head exploding in scanners. It's all of the crazy set pieces in Videodrome. Yes. I mean, obviously The Fly. I mean, that's a prime example. And then it's like, and there's sex in all of these, but it's like body horror first. Like, that's where I go first.
I agree.
And in Naked Lunch, you know, we're that was, by the way, that of the 4 I watched, I hated that movie. That movie was not very good. But
I hated the shrouds.
that's fair.
I really
but,
hated
like,
it.
Did you?
Oh,
I love the
yeah.
ideas.
The ideas I liked. The acting was terrible, and I thought that it was just a mess. But Cronenberg, you can do a better film than me. Like, I could never do the shrouds.
But it's so interesting to see him, even in Naked Lunch, though. Like, we still get all of the bugs. We get like the giant weird bug in the cage at the end of the movie. Like, there's still a ton of recognizable Cronenbergisms in those movies. And not that there isn't in this one, but we really lean away from that recognizable body horror thing that makes Cronenberg Cronenberg. And so I think the three of us batshit weirdos saying this movie could have gone further is like, but it could have, because Cronenberg goes further.
He does.
Especially, he's all about, you know, technology and sex and body, right? And he leans so much, he bounced so far into the technology and the fascination of it, but I don't know. It needed to be a little bit longer because there was a couple scenes missing about, you know, the two guys' connections. It also needed something to push because again, all the ideas you're thinking this is going to really go, and then each time it just kind of meh.
Well, and then I would also go as far as to say, when it comes to the sex scenes themselves, I feel like the female body is very, very objectified in this movie in a way that I found uncomfortable, because I was like, I don't really feel like they have agency in this. Like, I'm not sure if either of you noticed, but basically every time we see a naked woman or like a woman who has clothing on, she'll rip her breast out. And it very much reminded me of a pinup doll, like a pinup picture, which is absolutely for the male gaze, especially at the time that they were done. And that just felt really like, oh God, this is so for the male gaze. Well, one thing we want to do is make sure that one tit is out to show that, oh, we're so sexually aroused that we must at least give something, right? And then, and like all of the hetero sex is full frontal bush. We don't see penis, because apparently when you're fucking, according to Cronenberg, you never see the penis. And I was like, okay, but you could have shown a penis. Like, you are showing so much vagina that we could have had a penis. Come on. Like, it doesn't make sense to me. And then when we go to the gay sex scene between Vaughn and Spader, it is very conservative and very pulled back. And that is the moment that I wanted it to be more. And it can be more. My God, I was hoping for it to be more. And then it was so subdued. And
just a close-up of a face.
Yes. And I was like, come on. In a movie that is supposed to be pushing boundaries, that is supposed to be forcing the audience to try to rectify something within themselves, like wanting more, you're giving us nothing. And it's like, it was so disappointing and honestly kind of offensive. It was like, come on, well, Cronenberg.
I think, I just wanted a little more of like how it was affecting their day-to-day lives. Like,
sure.
Like James, like James killed a guy. He fucking murdered a guy with his car. Now, it might have been accidental, but that fucking guy is dead.
The guy is dead, and his wife was like, let me show you my boob right
and
after.
Stare.
It's just like,
that's what I do.
I wanted to see more about like how it changed their lives. And the movie that's coming to mind is...
Like, does his directing style change?
Well, he's a producer, so...
Oh, did his producing style change?
He just stopped
like Titane.
But like Michael Fassbender in Shame,
yes.
we can see how basically how those decisions, they build up. We see the ramifications. I just feel like these are like, we follow 5 people. I mean, Vaughn dies, but are there any repercussions? No. I mean,
Seagrave dies,
Helen's
and
husband,
Vaughn just is like, you did it without, you did the man's without me,
you got
brother.
the dog.
Which apparently Cronenberg was like, the dog is a real dog, but the dog had already died by the time we got it stuffed. Like, and he was like, but due to all of the issues releasing the film, I almost put something in the end saying that we killed the dog for the movie. It was like, Cronenberg. Oh my God. I loved it. But I also was like, you didn't earn it with this movie though, dude. You didn't earn that.
But, you know, and Adam, I think those are all really good points. And I think the problem is we don't spend any time with someone not in this world. So we don't get to see it.
Well, okay, so this is another thing in the book, again, because I think it does build out this relationship with Vaughn and Catherine and Ballard. Vaughn is just at work with Ballard all the time. Like, he just shows up and walks around the production studio with him because he knows that Elizabeth Taylor is doing a like car commercial for them. And in the book, I don't know if either of you saw this in the research, but Vaughn wants to kill Elizabeth Taylor in a car accident, which I think is so much more interesting than
funny.
just it is. It's bizarre. And
like very funny.
Cronenberg was like, I didn't put that in because by the time we filmed it, like Elizabeth Taylor wasn't really that popular anymore, like not in the way that she was in the 70s. And by the time we filmed it, like nobody would be able to keep up with that pop culture moment. But I think it's important for Vaughn because Vaughn wants infamy. And instead of saying he wants infamy, you just kind of get it through that. Whereas we get that he wants to be infamous because of he says that when they do the James Dean crash, which I think is kind of sloppy dialogue, in my opinion. I don't know, man. I think I kind of hate this movie still. I do.
I like it. I just think it's just missing some things to like really push it to. I think there's just some gaps, and I wonder if it's like it is the Cronenberg. Like if someone else did this, I'd be like, but and I don't. I was really trying to think about that when watching it, but I don't know.
I have another question for you guys. Speaking of that, if this film was being made today, who would direct it and who would be in it?
Cronenberg.
Yeah, Cronenberg. Cronenberg would actually play every single character. It would be an anime. Actually, an animated version of this would be really interesting.
Catherine would turn into a pig.
Yeah.
There on the Arrow version of this, there is it's like a 4-minute short film with him that isn't even on Letterboxd, so you can't like log it. And I believe it's called The Suicide of the Last Jew in the Last Cinema in the World. And it's basically just Cronenberg in it deciding whether or not he's going to shoot himself. But there's like this like almost like sports like color commentary talking about, yes, this is in fact the last Jew, and he is in the last cinema in the world. That's right, Bob. And it's just like it's this really weird. Cronenberg is a fucking weird dude. He is a weird guy,
dude.
Dude. What's his name? The tall Skarsgård who's in Pillion.
Alexander Skarsgård. That's who I had.
He'd be Spader.
Oh, see, I have him for Vaughn.
No.
I was thinking he could play a really good Vaughn. Him or Robert Pattinson.
Pattinson would be Vaughn.
Right? I mean, I think he'd be a really good Vaughn. And I was
Skarsgård would be a great, because you need to be more good looking and kind of exist. Vaughn doesn't exist in every world.
That's true.
Vaughn's not going to the bank on a Monday morning. Ballard can.
The other person I thought of was Josh O'Connell. I think Josh O'Connell is enough of an everyday man that he could.
Oh, he'd be good.
Right? Like that's who I kind of originally went to.
He'd be. Yeah, I could definitely get on board with that.
Yeah, but those were as Ballard. Josh O'Connor as Ballard, and Robert Pattinson as Vaughn.
I would say maybe Josh O'Connor as Ballard and Jack O'Connell as Vaughn.
That would be great.
I like that. That's interesting.
That would be really good.
Yeah.
And those are
because Jack O'Connell will go there wherever there is. He'll go.
He goes right.
Well, and I'm totally fine with this being like a British cast or a UK cast, since the original book is the UK. Okay, so this one is a little bit weird for Helen, but and this is a person who I usually don't like, but I also want Helen to be, I don't know. I was thinking Rebecca Ferguson would be a very interesting Helen. Like
I fucking love Rebecca Ferguson.
I don't, but I think she would kill it in this role.
I also love her, and I think she'd be good in everything. So
well, there you go. There you go. That's who I originally was thinking. I was like, oh yeah, I think she would be really interesting because she's striking enough, and she's also cold enough that I think there'd always be a wall there that we're trying to break through, but she's not going to let us in, right? Because that's kind of how Helen should be. I don't know. kind of what I was thinking. And who do we think for Catherine?
Who the girl who played Donna in that 70s show?
Really?
No, I'm joking. I'm just trying to think.
Like, someone who's a bad actor? Is that what
Yep.
you're Okay.
I can't think of good actors in that role. Like people who had like
Goth.
actual. Oh no, she's too good for that.
Well, no, that's why I think she'd be really good in it. She likes transgressive roles. I think
she
she
does.
Could do
Yeah,
it.
I think she'd like crush it as Helen.
Yeah.
I mean,
Oh
Mia
no,
actually,
I was saying Catherine. I really
No,
think
I know, but
Mia Goth would crush it as Gabrielle. I know it's a
Yes,
small
she
part, but she
absolutely-
would
no,
destroy
she would
that part.
Destroy it as
she'd be
Gabrielle.
unbelievable at that.
Yeah, I guess she has to be Gabrielle. So who would be Catherine? Because I like her. I like our casting so far, you guys. I think it's really good.
Shit.
Hmm.
Oh, what's sorry, I didn't write her down, but I'm gonna look her up right now. So please talk amongst yourselves for a second.
Well, while we're thinking about all this, for director, I mean, I feel like a natural step in somebody who is pretty transgressive and is not above doing a body horror movie with a statement. And I'm thinking like, could Coralie Farge come in?
That's exactly who I said.
Yeah.
That. Yep.
Yeah. Okay. Great.
Yep. That. The other one I was thinking was Nia DaCosta potentially, because I just really like Nia DaCosta and she did something really interesting with Hedda. But I think it's Coralie. Like I really do.
Sure.
Allison Oliver from Saltburn, who played Venetia in Saltburn.
Oh, she was
in
like the most interesting part of Wuthering Heights, and she went for it in a really insane way.
She's really good. I like her.
And she actually talks.
Yes.
Has a voice.
Yeah, so I think she could.
But
She would
she
be
has
really
too much
good.
of a career, so I don't know if it works.
No, I think it works.
Me and Debbie Unger have like the same acting career.
No, I'm just imagining you as Catherine. This is weird, Joey. This
Don't
is
do
weird.
that.
You
Don't do
did
that.
it.
I didn't
So
do
I
shit.
actually, you know what? I think that our casting for that is pretty good. Like,
The O'Connell with Mia Goth as Gabrielle and Rebecca Ferguson is pretty unbelievable. And Coralie Farge putting this together.
yeah. And okay, and I understand also that this is a very white cast, but that also I think is the point. Like these are affluent white people who need therapy. So
And they
so
have to go to ballets all the time because they're so culturally relevant.
oh my
They're
god,
the
no, we're
most
not having this-
culturally relevant thing that has ever existed and has never, ever diminished whatsoever. So
Joey,
we have to make
we
sure.
are not doing this because we are going to get into a fight. So
Just
let's
saying,
please
they're
stop.
so
Nope.
culturally relevant. We
No,
have to put it
no.
in there.
Joey, no, stop. I'm asking you to stop right now because I'm actually genuinely gonna get mad.
So Britt, you texted me the other night, a night where I literally got 0 minutes of sleep. And you reminded me, or you didn't remind me, you told me that your assistant director is somebody that we know.
Yes.
And I went down the rabbit hole and I was looking at of photos from a really odd show that I did with Abby years and years and years ago. And then I just kept going down these rabbit holes because I was very much awake, and I stumbled upon pictures from Closer. And I wanted to ask you, Britt,
Yes.
like if Closer was sort of the apex for like boundary pushing roles, and as far as like where like you feel whether it was what the character said or did, like was that like the most you feel like you've done or exposed yourself or like
Yes, I would
down?
say that is, other than like doing burlesque, right? But
Sure.
But doing burlesque, I feel like I'm in power. Whereas in Closer, as Alice feigns power, but I don't think she really has it. Like, it is, that character is all for the male gaze. That character is all for getting by getting things from men. So yeah, I would say it's the farthest I've gone. I mean, I stripped on stage for everyone. So yeah, no, I absolutely think that's the farthest I've gone personally.
Yeah, I was thinking about like moments of shows that I've done. Like I've when I was in grad school, like I was in one show where I pretended to go down on a girl, but I was under a blanket, so clearly like everything was actually fine. And like I did get naked in a production of Dangerous Liaisons, but it wasn't for very long, and it wasn't overly sexualized. But I was thinking about a scene in Closer where I'm basically yelling at what was the other actress in that play? I'm totally spacing her name right now.
And she was amazing. She was incredible. How can I?
She was great, and I feel bad.
I feel really bad too.
It'll come up. But that scene right before the end of Act 1 where I'm like, do you like a cock? Do you like him coming in your face?
Yes,
what does it taste like? Like, these are lines I'm yelling at this person on stage. And it did make me, as much as Joey has been shitting on Deborah Kara Unger, the scene where she is just firing back line after line while she's having sex with James about
where her
the
hair
taste
is
of his
just perfect.
Yes.
On the pillow.
But that is just some insane dialogue to say. And I really, whether or not you think the actors are good or not, I really got to applaud everybody going for it. They went for it, and that's a lot. None of that shit is easy to do. That is wild.
They had to. Well,
everyone's committed.
You have to in a movie like this. If you are not committed to this, what's the point of doing it? You could easily say no. Even Cronenberg said, I'm so used to people saying no to my movies because of the subject matter, which I think is understandable. I mean, I just rewatched Videodrome, which I really, really like. I genuinely really like Videodrome. Me too. And I'm not surprised people said no to that. It's pretty, honestly, it's very transgressive. I honestly think that the sexuality in that movie pushes you farther than anything in this movie. And this movie is supposed to be wildly inappropriate and just so bonkers, right? And I think he's done it better. The all of the dialogue that Catherine says, and that comes straight from the book. They have that whole scene, and there's multiple times that they do that because, of course, Ballard talks about how this is the only way we can feel intimate is when we're talking about being with other people in a very clinical way, where we're talking about someone's anus. I don't know. It's a good scene. It is a good scene, but I still feel like it could go farther, like everything else. It just, I don't know. There's something missing. There's a piece missing in this movie, and I'm not sure what it is.
I think it needed a normal person, someone not bought into this. It needed somebody who's been "You're doing what? You skipped work? Why?"
One thing I did really like in this movie is that we never see there's never any conversation between Catherine and Ballard about being well, we need this for our marriage. It could have been so easy to put something in we need to go see the divorce attorney just in case we decide to do the separation, right? They could have done that and they didn't. And I think
because they were too detached for even that. So that would they were so far gone. They're not even having these practical conversations, thankfully.
But I do feel like they would have had a practical conversation now. They would try to do that. And I like that
the people trying to do car crashes, you think they're it's pragmatic after breakfast conversation. I don't think so.
Well, if Netflix wrote it, then yes, they would.
Well, if Netflix wrote it, they'd be like, "Ooh, this car crash is making me feel tingly. What do I do about that?"
Well,
and everybody be like, "Oh, car crashes."
I'm wondering, since we're talking about how this movie didn't go far enough, would this maybe be a good time to mention the Lock Martin Award for the most useless part of the movie? Does anybody have any good candidates for the Lock Martin Award?
I feel like there's so many ways to go, but the one I can't, the concussion protocol for Mr. Seagrave, they just.
So can I? Mine is directly related. I read Cheryl Schwartz, who plays Vera, who I guess is his wife. What is her point? I mean.
She's mine too. I was like, wow.
There's also an argument to be made about the Toronto Police Department, who just does not show up to car crashes. I mean, Debbie's under a car in the middle of nowhere, and they're just like, "Oh, we'll try again later. Let's have sex." What? And the police just don't show up.
There's a line where he goes. Sorry, go ahead, Britt.
Oh no. Say what you're gonna say, and then I'll go.
There's just a line where he's trying to look at his demolished car, and he goes like, "The police should make it harder to see this." I was like, "They really should."
Well, not only that, but then in my personal favorite scene of the movie, the car pileup, where it's just like so like sexy and there's lots of smoke everywhere and music, some saxophone, all of that. I just really like that scene. They come to the car pileup and they find.
Wait, that's your favorite scene?
Yeah, that's my favorite.
That's
scene,
also my
sure.
favorite scene
It's
too.
It's the best scene in the whole thing. Like if it was just a movie of that, I'd be fine. And but in that scene, they're just going up and taking pictures of people while like
nobody's stopping them. Like the firefighters are like, "Oh, what's up, guy?
Dude, what's up?" And he's just like, "I'm just taking pictures."
That's because the firefighters are too busy putting the jaws of life into the very vaginal openings on the car.
Yes.
They are too busy. The firefighters are too busy
the one guy who
penetrating the vehicles.
They love to penetrate the vehicles. God.
Wait, so Adam, what's your favorite scene then?
My favorite scene is Vaughn's monologue, and the staging of the car crash. Because before that, it's a lot of weird sex. But when we get to that moment, that's when we really get introduced to a world that I hadn't seen, like this weird, almost like found space theater. Like, what is happening? Like, we show up here and what's going to happen? Two cars are going to crash into each other?
Well, and it's like an hour into the movie too. We have 30 minutes left after that. And it's like, oh, we finally have like what this film is supposed to be about. And then it ends basically, right? Like
it's too short. It's too short.
It is too short, unfortunately. And the beginning's too long. There are too many weird scenes of like.
Also, he's, horrible car crash. She's the only one in the hospital.
Oh my God, that was my favorite though. It's my favorite. I love that it's all
like
royal
Cronenberg's like Toronto
for some
safe.
reason.
Yeah.
Like, why is this hospital this color? I loved that.
Most sanitary. Yeah. All right.
It was a vibe.
So quote,
the only part of this movie that was a vibe, the hospital.
I have one quote I like that I just thought was like really funny about somebody just falling down into a cult. When Ballard goes, after being bombarded endlessly by road safety propaganda, it's almost a relief to have found myself in a car accident.
Another thing I really didn't like, or I liked in this movie because it was kind of useless, when she our LVP is sewing her husband into a corset. She's sewing it, but she doesn't actually have a needle or string in her hand. So it's just her going back and forth and then going for a knife. And I was like, oh no, they did not trust her to pretend to sew on someone. So it's just
Or they were just making a point about her character.
Yeah, she doesn't even know that she's not actually sewing.
Like Cronenberg was calling her a lock.
Yeah, she was like, oh no, Lock Martin's on set today. So don't give her a needle. She's not going to know what to do with it. Oh, that makes me, that feels really mean. Oh, well. Oh, well. We're mean today. Cronenberg's fine. He's successful.
Any unsung heroes?
Oh, I did the makeup artist, Catherine James, and the special effects artist, Stephen Dupois. I thought that the scarring on everybody looked really, really good. It was gnarly, especially in the hospital. I thought that Vaughn's face looked awesome. And all of the special effects in the car crashes were really, really cool. So
yeah, I did the makeup too.
Yeah,
it looked great.
Yeah. You two are on point. I went with somebody whose work I actually am not a huge fan of normally, but I thought in this movie was cooking. And I really dug Howard Shore's score. I really like the music in the movie.
I agree.
It's the right kind of moody. It's not overly intrusive. And like, because there are long stretches of silence, it needs to be this kind of noir, kind of not, kind of thriller. Right. Like it does kind of what it needs to do. And there's
a sexiness to it, right? There is a sexiness to this score, and I really like it. I think of in the car pileup scene when that score hits and they're like walking through the smoke that's everywhere for that scene. Like Deborah Unger sits next to the woman who's been injured in the car accident.
Yes, she does.
and just is like smoking a cigarette and staring at her. I'm like, wow, this music really helps. Like, it is somehow sexy, even though I don't find car accidents sexy. This scene is trying to elicit that response. It didn't work, but I truly appreciate the effort that it really put in. Yeah, no, I think the score is great.
Either you have a quote.
I didn't think about that. I think it's probably when Helen says, I'll wear a fucking kimono if I want to. Because I don't really think it makes sense, but I'm like, okay, I believe you, Helen. I will follow you to the ends of the earth. Sure.
Everything that Derek Kara Unger says about Vaughn when they're having sex. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
Now say it.
Yeah. That would have been
penetrate his anus. That
strong way to open this episode of just quoting that entire monologue out of context. That would have been wild.
I wish.
Then we no sell it. We're like, we're here for Disney's Frozen.
Wow. Oh god, I would rather watch that movie than this, and that's saying something. So.
Oh man. All right. Does anyone else have anything about Crash that you feel needs to be said?
I had such a miserable time reading this book. And I texted
So you did
both.
it twice.
And I did it twice because I wanted to see if there was something I missed. I read the book, I watched the movie twice, and I went, I think I must have missed something in the book. So then I went back to the book and I was like, I didn't miss anything. I was spot on with my review that I think it's not great and doesn't work for me.
I was thinking about doing the audiobook, and then I saw a review, and the person was just like, there's no reason this book exists. And I was like, oh. Like, I'm just not going to waste my 15 hours. So this is an
interesting thing. Did either of you listen to the interview with Ballard and Cronenberg? It's like an hour and a half long.
No.
I did. You're welcome. I don't have kids, so I have a lot of free time. But
I could safely say that did not affect my decision.
No, but Ballard actually was talking about how in it he really likes this movie, by the way, which I was like, wow, two peas in a pod.
Yeah, he loves it.
Yeah, I don't want to go to tea with either of you guys, I think.
Don't let him serve it at least.
Yeah, I'm good. But he also talked about how he preferred this to like something like Blue Velvet. And I just wholeheartedly do not agree. I find Blue Velvet super transgressive, but I also think that the scenes within that are actually, they are there to elicit like a response from people. He was like, I found something like Blue Velvet really cold and really like it. And I just personally do not agree. And I think that there's
Are you trying to agree with J.G. Ballard? Is that your hope here?
No, I'm not trying to agree with him at all. I'm saying that I fully, wholeheartedly don't agree because I think that if I was going to watch a transgressive movie about this kind of stuff, I guess, and it was either Blue Velvet or Crash, I'd 100% watch Blue Velvet. I think it's far more interesting.
Well, and I think, I mean, and I hate to be as, I'm not really throwing shade at the source material because I didn't read it, but
oh no, throw shade. You can throw shade.
But
I read it twice, so go for it.
Blue Velvet has a plot. I mean,
yes.
like when you get down to the root of it, we have characters trying to accomplish something, trying to figure something out.
We have people we can connect to.
And they change.
Yes. And they come out and their lives have been affected by the events of the movie. When we get to the end of Crash, I mean, Vaughn is dead, but I don't think anybody's lives, like I think Gabrielle and Helen are going to continue watching crash test videos and diving down this world.
And eventually one day die in a car crash, probably.
Right.
Yeah. And Vaughn and Catherine will probably continue to see other people and like explore what that open relationship is, but like nobody's lives have been irrevocably changed, and that's okay for a movie to end that way. But if how we get to that kind of an ending is just this, it's like, oh, all right,
yeah.
It's
It's just
agreed.
I
All
just
right.
was hoping I'd like it more this time around. And I didn't hate it as much as I did the first time. Again, it's a 2.5 out of 5, which is like 50%. It's not bad. It's still an F, but you know, just
All right. Well, that leads to the
go
final
harder.
question of, does 1996's Crash belong in the book? 1001 Movies to See Before You Die. Britt.
No. No. I really, really don't think that it does. I think that there are more transgressive movies out there that deserve a spot, that deserve to be looked at. There's better Cronenberg movies out there that deserve to be in this book. So I personally do not think we really need to put this in, because like we didn't even go into all of the background of how difficult it was to even get a screening of this movie for a very long time, how controversial this movie was, and that's the most interesting part about it. And I don't think that type of legacy is enough to be in this book. Like, the movie needs to stand on its own before you go and research it. So
Yeah.
I'm gonna say no. I would rather see something like Titane in the book.
Adam.
So kind of launching off of what Britt said, like I don't think it should be in the book. And I this is where I reference our sacred tome of the book. Cronenberg's in there 3 times. He's in there for The Fly, he's in there for Videodrome, he's in there for Dead Ringers, and Naked Lunch used to be in the book. It's not anymore. And like 3 is pretty good for any director. And now, granted, I probably would take out Dead Ringers for The Brood or History of Violence, personally. But like, he's in there, and he's in there for, I would say, very recognizable pieces. So I there's nothing I wouldn't take anything out to put this in. Cronenberg's in there. Something different could go in at a different point. So it's kind of an easy no.
Yeah, I mean, for me, it's the same thing. If I like this movie, but if you have to get down to the 5th best Cronenberg, where now there's 5 movies of his in there, it's unnecessary. There's other things. I think the only reason you have to watch it is if you're trying to watch all the Cronenbergs.
Absolutely. And
if you're trying to watch all the Deborah Ungers, you just got to watch this, and you did it.
Hey,
13, right? She was in that.
She's in the
a
game.
couple things. I'm being a dick.
Oh, she is in the game. She's good in the game.
I almost had to like rewatch the game. I was like, who?
So I will say one thing before we go on to the ending of our podcast. Yesterday I managed to have a day where nobody was messaging me at work. So I watched a ton of Cronenberg yesterday, and I had a really good time with it. I didn't love everything, but I think that he has a pretty varied and interesting, like, filmography. So I would say, like, go for it, because I had a really good time. I watched The Shrouds, which I didn't like. I watched Videodrome. I watched The Brood, and then I watched Dead Ringers. And Dead Ringers went up in my book. I really like Dead Ringers.
I love
and I was
Dead
like,
Ringers.
it's fucking great. So, like, yeah, Cronenberg is interesting, and I think even though we're not putting this movie in the book, like, watch Cronenberg. He's interesting and fun, and would be a fun director ranking.
Takes
honestly.
chances, but yeah, it's too much. But that is the good Crash. Amazingly, this is the. What's next?
So I believe that it's me next, and we are going back to 1995, and we're going to be doing Safe. And I'm really, really excited. It's a Todd Haynes movie, so I have no idea if I'm going to like it or not, because I'm basically 50-50 on Todd Haynes movies at this point. So I think it'll be a really interesting conversation. I wanted to watch this because I think it seems like a wild premise, and I really like Julianne Moore. So that's a me movie. I didn't steal it from Joey this time. I just genuinely did pick that one.
Cool.
But yeah. So that's what we're doing. Let's
Cool.
see if any of us like it. Who knows?
I wrote a whole thing on it, so I bring more opinions to the episode when the time comes.
Yeah, Adam, you really need to bring more opinions to the episode. You're just so quiet. You never.
I do. I feel like I might be the quietest one of the bunch, though, in some of the episodes.
It was some of them, but I think that's because Joey and I just steamroll you.
I don't want to even know what was happening earlier. So we'll let that be.
Joey and I had a debate about the whole Timothée Chalamet thing, and it went on for so long that at one point
I figured as much.
I was like, "This is going nowhere. Let's talk about something else." So yeah,
because
we're
all
on very
relevant.
vastly different ends of the spectrum on that one.
Yes,
Well,
all
on that
culturally
note,
relevant
that was
have
our
never gone
conversation on, as Joey said, The Good Crash. You can find us on all of the social medias. We're on YouTube too. You can watch us do all the crazy shenanigans that you hear us do. That was Crash. And as always, I am Adam.
I am Britt.
And I am Joey.
And we will see you for Safe.